Imagine a baby's heart monitor showing signs that the oxygen is being cut off to the baby. That steady beat that should reassure everyone is instead sending a warning of danger to the professionals, medical professionals. This is what a Category 3 fetal heart strip represents. And when doctors and nurses do not act quickly, babies can be left with permanent brain injuries like HIE or hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. As a birth injury lawyer, I review labor and delivery and HIE cases from across the country. And from time to time, I'll see a Category 3 strip that'll come up. These types of strips can often explain why a baby needed resuscitation, cooling therapy, or now faces the challenges of an HIE diagnosis and a possible cerebral palsy diagnosis. ACOG, which is the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, they define a category strip as an abnormal strip. They include either a absent baseline variability with recurrent late decelerations or recurrent variable decelerations or bradycardia. It can also include a pattern that's called a sinusoidal pattern. In plain language, what this means is that the baby's heart tracing is showing dangerous patterns that point to a lack of oxygen. And when oxygen is cut off long enough, the risk of a permanent brain injury that increases sharply. Many times in the cases that we're reviewing, the labor will begin as a Category 1 strip, which is going to be normal. Then the strip will drift into a Category 2, which is an indeterminate type of strip. And then that Category 2 can sometimes, if it's not improving, it can slide over into a Category 3. These are not mothers who are refusing sound medical interventions. Even when following every recommendation, their baby can still end up in a serious, dangerous position if the medical team does not act promptly to warning signs. And this is where we can see mistakes. Doctors and nurses, sometimes what they'll do is they'll sit on a Category 2 strip and they'll wait too long as the baby's condition continues to worsen or deteriorate. And by the time the strip is at a Category 3, the baby is already suffering more than likely severe distress. By that point, conservative resuscitation measures have usually been tried and they've failed, or they are in the process of continuing to fail. These measures include giving mom oxygen, repositioning her, starting IV fluids, or stopping medications like Pitocin if that's being given. When these types of steps, when they do not work and the strips are in Category 3 patterns, the standard is going to call for immediate evaluation and often an urgent delivery of the baby. Delays at this stage can lead directly to most likely preventable HIE brain injuries. Now, let me share with you what happens after the case is filed and you're in depositions. When doctors and nurses are asked about these decisions, they often will say, well, you have to take the strip in its entirety and you have to look at it in real time. What they'll do is they'll point out that during a deposition, we're only looking at a few pages at a time when we're going through everything. While in labor, they were making decisions as the events were unfolding. But what they'll leave out is that in real time, they were not just glancing at one page. They were charting, they were making notes, they were documenting with the benefit of everything that had already happened during labor up until that point. So in other words, they had the full picture right there in front of them. They had the training to know what all of that meant when they were looking at it. And they still, in a lot of cases, they didn't act quickly enough. For families, this can be the painful reality of a Category 3 strip. It's not just a technical label with everything, it's a warning that the baby's brain and oxygen supply are in immediate danger. And when you have a medical staff that fails to respond, it can mean the difference between a safe delivery and a lifetime of challenges that can come with an HIE brain injury. When I'm reviewing these cases, I look at the entire labor and delivery record. I'm looking at the progression, if it was from a Category 1 to a Category 2 to a Category 3, if that is present. The interventions that were used and the timing of the decisions that were made. Sometimes these injuries, they can happen and there was no way to prevent them. But in some HIE cases, the injury is going to be tied directly to the delays in responding to the strips and what was going on with the baby. Again, I'm Marcus Boston. If you have any other questions about your baby's HIE brain injury at birth or subsequent CP diagnosis from a medical legal standpoint, don't hesitate to reach out and contact me. You can find out more information about me and my profile. My information is there. If you're watching this video on certain apps, you can send me a DM and we could chat a little bit about your baby story, or you could just wait and watch the picture that follows the end of this video. All right, that's going to be it for this afternoon's quick educational video. Have a great day, everybody.